I need a dummy break after this one. I need a dumb break. And ladies and gentlemen, the man who never ceases to amaze with his lack of reading comprehension skills. And you guys know, this is a short one. This is only 3 minutes long. I don't know why. I guess Dan Bongholio's understanding of things can only survive 3 minutes of scrutiny. But in this particular case, you can tell why this one piqued my interest. Former Intel analyst warns the U.S. is beginning to turn into Chinese surveillance state. I would presume it would be a Chinese surveillance state or a Chinese-like surveillance state, but they just left the A out to make you think that it was actually written by a CCP bot, I guess. All right, here we go. This is Bongholio letting us know how America is basically China now. Because, let me guess, we used to have lockdowns. Oh, God. Welcome to House Marks Mega Worldwide. Like and subscribe.
Welcome back to Unfiltered. Millions of Americans are getting ready to fly home or fly out home for the holidays, but...
Yeah, fly. You guys are flying out home, right? Out back, out home? We fly up home. Up on outhouse. I fly on outhouse. Up, out.
Big Brother could be watching like never before.
Like never before. It's a great phrase. I'm using it all the time.
The TSA is rolling out new facial recognition software for travelers at 16 U.S. airports. That could replace, your standard photo ID.
Sorry, U.S. travelers or...
I don't know, folks, but that sounds like something out of China's surveillance state. And as we've seen with government abuse, a lot can go wrong. I'm willing to take that chance. Joining me now is Fox News contributor and former U.S. Army Intel analyst, Brett Villacovich. Brett.
Let me guess, they're in the international terminals because of people coming in from other countries. Also, I mean, I get my eyes scanned when I go through fucking Clear. What does that count as?
Brett, thanks a lot for your time. Brett, what concerns me about the U.S. government implementing this in the TSA
is that I would much rather have Russia do it.
Say specifically, is this stuff's got to be stored somewhere. And
it's already stored somewhere, or they wouldn't be able to recognize your fucking face. It doesn't have to store any. Okay. All right. You have an algorithm. Its entire job is to look for, I don't know, international criminal turd Dan Bongholio. And it scans faces, and it's got a picture of Bongholio's face, and it's scanning all the faces until it finds or does not find Dan Bongholio in the crowd of people. Now, does this computer have to store any of the other faces? No, because its entire purpose is to singularly look for the people on the bad guy list. That's actually how you get away from the Chinese system, which doesn't look for anybody in particular, just scans everybody.
The government has shown no ability, the IRS leaks, the OPM leaks, at all to secure people's information. No.
They don't have to have your information. Again, if two cops are sitting on a corner looking for a robbery suspect that is constantly harassing and beating local people in this one particular neighborhood, so they increase the number of patrols in an area, and the guy's very specific. He's 6'2", big orange mustache, wears overalls, and they got a picture of him. Are they holding that picture up at every woman with a stroller or black dude or Jewish dude or whatever, like who's coming through? Are they walking up and going, "Hey, can I get your ID real quick? I'm just making sure you're not this guy with the giant. I'm making sure you're not Yosemite Sam." And yeah, I'll give you it right. I'm just going to scan it and keep it forever. So you live around here? There you go. It's fucking idiotic.
No less facial recognition.
Yeah, exactly. So much.
Yeah, exactly, bruh. It's bruh. I mean, I've got a filter on right now, so they think I'm like Blurry McBlurrison.
For protecting our freedoms, I guess, you're Dan. I mean, this is the beginning of my fear we're going to turn into the same surveillance state that China has become, and it's incredibly dangerous. China began using artificial intelligence systems just like this one to build a digital government system of social control where.
Yeah, but you don't have individual rights in that country at all. There are no legal barriers to any of it. Do you realize that the Congress would have to allocate funding for storage facilities for facial scan and recognition software that they would have to keep? Or, I got news for you, or they'd have to buy it from a private company that's doing it anyways.
Their security services now can just patrol across multiple digital platforms to try and identify those people working against the state. And so what we're talking about here is potentially the beginning of an...
Yeah, but that's easy because you're not allowed any of the freedoms that we are allowed. There are no limits on what they can do as far as scanning your work. There are limits over here.
Unprecedented stranglehold on our own society, whereby the government can just control everything from politics to the economy to even protests with unrestricted access to this data. I mean, the TSA here claims that
gibberish.
This helps improve security and efficiency at airports. But what it's really doing is it's bringing in unproven technology with massive civil rights ramifications that as a society, we've really...
They're checking your face against your driver's license. They don't have to store it even for it to work. The driver's license itself... All right, never mind.
Yet to fully understand. I mean, it's not just about security. Dan, you know that the airlines, they already share a massive amount of information and data with the government on who's traveling, where they're traveling, when. Yes. So why do we...
Yes, even I understand jet tracking numbers are readily available via FAA stuff, and sometimes rich assholes get bristly when you look up the legally available and taxpayer funded for tracking data.
We need facial recognition also. And, you know, when you look at the...
What, dude, what do you think a person is doing every time? The whole point of this is that they're trying to take the TSA person out of the loop as best they can. Hey, where you going? Okay, cool. Yeah, and what's your name? Yeah, and what's his name? Okay, Michael. There you go. Okay, thank you. Okay, they're trying to take that out of the mix. What do you think that dude is doing? He's doing facial recognition. He's just a person.
Origins of China's artificial development, you can see that
artificial development. Oh, you mean the ghost cities?
President Xi Jinping moved.
I'm sorry, who? I'm starting to understand why this dickhead got fired.
Origins of China's artificial development, you can see that President Xi Jinping moved.
Xi Jinping. That's not... That's amazing. That is singularly the worst pronunciation of Xi Jinping I've ever heard. That still stays in the ballpark without somebody going, you know, what's his name? Wang Fuyang? What the shit?
Origins of China's artificial development, you can see that President Xi Jinping moved forward with this belief that whoever controls AI controls the entire world. And so,
yeah, and he's been brilliant on everything else so far.
So China has said the exact same thing initially that the TSA is saying here, defending AI by claiming it's about bringing some more freedom.
Also, what? Wait a minute. This isn't AI. Like, facial recognition software is not artificial intelligence. It is like comparative image software. It's pretty basic. China is the TSA, right?
Citizens, but in China so far, all that AI has done is brought more control.
Yeah, except for, you know, with Foxconn, they all broke out and that kind of stuff, and where it fails because half their cameras don't work and their transistors. Never mind.
Yeah, Brett, just a quick response as I'm running out of time, but the TSA's already screwed up things like the, you know, with the FBI, you know, the don't fly list. I mean, so the potential for a...
You mean the no-fly list? That means you're not allowed to fly, as opposed to the don't-fly list, which is like, I don't recommend it. I had a nightmare last night that your plane was going to crash.
You know, confusion here with the technology is pretty vast. Just a quick thought on that.
I don't even know what you said. Say that again?
Screwed up things like the...
Hold on.
Yeah, Brett, just a quick response as I'm running out of time, but the TSA's already screwed up things like with the FBI, the don't fly list. I mean, so the potential for a, confusion here with the technology is pretty vast. Just a quick thought on that.
I don't know what that was amazing. Congratulations, Bongholio. Some of the dumbest shit you've ever said. I've seen Steven Seagal dialogue that makes more sense.
Well, just think about the security implications, right? The TSA claims all its databases are encrypted to reduce this hacking risk. But from my experience, anytime big data gets collected somewhere, it can be stolen. We can change our credit cards and we can change our licenses, but you only get one face, Dan. And if you remember in 2019,
no, you don't. Please don't say that to Kimberly Guilfoyle.
The Department of Homeland Security disclosed that photos of travelers,
anybody seen Richie?
They were taken in a data breach, which was accessed through the networks of one of its subcontractors that was storing this facial recognition data. So we haven't even explored yet the full ethics of all this. We are pushing the...
by the way, that's not the ethics of it. If there's any ethics to it, it's the ethics of spending properly on security for this kind of stuff. The fact that they have it, look, anything that can be stolen will be stolen at some point. That does not mean that the having of the thing that can be stolen is intrinsically unethical or bad in any sense. That's stupid. I can have pants and I can have my pants stolen. This is not an ethical question of the value of pants. Honey, where are my pants?
Boundaries of that right now. I just hope that the TSA knows what they're doing with this data and there's no misuse involved.
No misuse involved. What is this? Does Dan Bongholio just have like a 3-minute paranoid segment?
Me too.
Well, me too. Totally, bruh.
Brett Velikovich, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah. And next time, you got some Vaseline on your lens and stuff. Is that from the Carrie Lake connection? Do we still have our camera set up for Carrie Lake? That's my bad. We'll fix it next time.
Thanks, Dan.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Oh, God. Just this weird idea that, like, when Trump's in charge, they're not worried about any of this shit. When George W. Bush is in charge, they're not worried about any of this shit. The minute Democrats get in charge, everything is fucking FEMA camps and, Jade Helm. They're going to use all this information to control you. Like... there are genuine conversations that need to be had about the limitations of government and law enforcement and all those kind of things to make sure that you maximize freedom in situations where you're dealing with legitimate threats. That's a serious conversation. That's important to have on the regular. But what Bongholio and especially like Russell Brand delve into is this constant paranoid state that if the other side had, the opposite side of me gets their hands on power, they'll use them the way I use them when I get in power, and that scares the shit out of me. Again, look no further than Elon Musk, kicking reporters off, literally shadow banning people, and then, saying that the other side did it unfairly when there's no evidence that they did. As a matter of fact, like I said, that all the people that were, including Dan Bongholio, were bitching about being quote-unquote shadow banned should have been kicked off for a violation of terms of service years ago, like any of us plebes would have been, but they managed because they were aligned with Fox News or whatever the fuck to stay on.